I can't play for crap with these gloves on. The gloves are coming off.
Good luck.
Frankly,
Gloves are off. The gloves are
That
off.
was fast.
I just want to start the episode by saying Walmart
Is trash.
is trash. And here's why. As you can see, John is not in his jumpsuit.
And that's because
It's because the zipper broke.
yeah.
The first 2 seconds.
Not where I was gonna go with it.
Not because of the size, not because of a user error. No. It's because Walmart sucks.
But, well, I will say you did order larges, which no big deal.
No big
Okay,
deal.
but look at
I'm not a large,
so,
and I think I've accepted that, which
I
I'm
think
okay with.
I've deduced that they are definitely child because look at the legs.
No
Look
way.
at your
they're not
legs.
child.
Look
There's
how
no
high
way.
it went up on your legs for a large.
Kara, if that was a youth large, I wouldn't have been able to put it over my foot. Literally, like it would have been tiny.
It's a jumpsuit though, so they're supposed to fit big on kids.
I just think they're crappy.
That's what I. You know what? That's what I'm
That
saying.
too.
Walmart pushed them out.
saw an
because
opportunity
of,
to push it out for Halloween with Squid Game
it
just
wasn't
coming
even
out.
the same. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
The
Trash.
zippers,
The
on them
zippers were
and
different.
I feel like I'm suffocating right now
Yeah.
because this is only barely. Oh my gosh! Even that is like a world of difference. Well, welcome back to What the Podcast.
It's just raw. Real.
I'm Ryan.
I'm John,
Together we are
Ryan, and John.
on the couch as always. Producer Cara Philly and the lovely Annie Skovman.
Is it weird not seeing our mouths move? Or
Yes.
I think eventually the masks.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come off.
Yeah, this is weird.
No, I love it. It's kind of cool.
Are you on your cams?
Yeah.
Oh.
We are obviously two soldiers from Squid Games.
Well, we got the
The
message
ladies
that
on
we
the
were dressing
couch.
up
Wait,
as
did
Squid
you
Games.
make that headband?
Yes, I'm
Wow. Yeah, like
She's
We've got
Squid.
Squid.
if you're listening, yeah,
Games.
you're listening. She's dressed up as
Cara is
Squid.
wearing a squid costume, and Annie is in a
Games.
twister poncho with a chess piece headpiece.
You know what I
And
love?
it's sorry.
Annie, this
Sorry,
whole
Annie.
month, Annie, you've chose really practical costumes
Yep.
for like the idea that we're going to be in here with the AC off for an hour and 15 minutes.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I
Not
have
so
not
much, man.
chosen great costumes. I'm not going to lie. I wore a tie and then I wore a giant Teletubby.
Hey, and I kept with the bit. Hello, my name is Games.
Nice.
I appreciate the craftsmanship with the headband, the chest
Thanks.
pieces.
I
and the
literally went to
star
like
pieces.
spend money.
turn my head to look at you, but I can't turn my head in this whole thing. I have
I
to, like-
realized my phone is in the pocket of my pants
Oh,
up under my
good
jumpsuit.
luck.
Oh.
You're never getting
So I
that
was
back.
Good luck.
Got it.
Well, we're back.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
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 Halloween.
Halloween.
in 2 days.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that pork meat is the closest thing you can eat to human flesh?
Really?
Like supposedly in texture and taste.
Isn't that why?
In texture and
Well,
I love
tattoo
that.
artists practice on pigskin. Do you know that?
Why do you know?
Because it's the
Why do
closest to human skin.
Okay, the both of you are
I
really
thought that
concerning
conversation
me.
about dumping bodies was just
Oh,
disturbing
no, that
last
really
week.
stuck
but
with
this-
me last week.
Do you want to do your update? Because you said you might have an update to that.
So, yeah, I was
if
talking
you listened to
earlier.
last week, we were talking about how to
we
get rid of a body, which
yeah.
is pretty on brand for Halloween episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Pretty on brand. And I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Yes.
So I've decided I'm going to copy what I believe someone else did. They got away with it because it's a disappeared. The crime has not
Oh, you're a
still
copycat.
open. Yeah, but I'm willing to copy it if they
If
got
they
away
did well,
with it.
yeah. I mean, hey, if
it
it's not
works.
broken, don't fix it.
Right.
You know.
Which is to dump all the evidence of the crime in one spot and then the actual body somewhere completely different. So, like, in this instance, drove the car into the pond.
Yeah.
All the evidence of, like, their belongings in this pond. You know, they had blood in there and the car and stuff like that. But the body wasn't found.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, I'm like, genius. You take that body,
Go stick it somewhere
Yeah,
random.
someone
Classic
totally different.
misdirection. Right?
Yeah, where they're like, why would they ever dig up that random thing under the bush? They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because all the evidence is obviously near the pond.
Yeah.
So that's
True,
my new
true.
way.
Do
That's how
Do you
want to
reconsider anything you said last week, John? Or are you?
I
Pretty,
mean, I feel pretty confident about
pretty
mine,
confident
but
in that.
I would say if I could choose a different like method of disposing the body,
Yeah.
I think I would try to burn it. Like go somewhere in like in the boons and like
stinky.
burn it,
Yeah.
just so it's ash, and then like maybe even clean up the ashes and like throw them in the ocean or something to like really get rid of no trace. Because I really
or
think.
different bags and then all in the
Yeah,
same dumpster.
here's what it is. I think if there's no body, there's no evidence, and I think
Yes.
that's really hard for somebody to like even go around looking for a killer when they don't even know that there is one. Like if the idea that the body is completely gone is really important. I think.
People always want to say,
You know what?
they ran to Mexico.
I disagree. I think I still stick with what I said. Like, you have to pose it as
Yes.
they rule it not a homicide. So you got to
Like it's an
prop it up
accident.
like it's an accident or like plant drugs on you or something.
Okay.
Anyways,
That's a good idea.
we were talking just before the show started that they found the remains next to some personal belongings of Brian Laundrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all kind of heard different accounts because I heard that they identified his dental records, but not his DNA. But maybe that's not true. I don't
See,
know.
the last thing I saw, and maybe I'm old, got old news here, but I saw that they had found the body parts. They were, and not saying that they were, they hadn't identified it to be him. So they were sending it off to an expert.
This one,
These
I just
masks
looked it
are
up
really
and it
hard.
yeah,
said
I
that-
can't focus at all.
Honestly.
My nose is
Gosh.
completely squished.
Please hold. You go ahead and say what you're going to say, Kira.
Oh my
I was gonna say that it says there's a Brian Laundrie body autopsy already, so it was him.
Oh, it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says that his remains
my hair
undergo
look?
DNA analysis.
Hey, this is kind of cool.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I was
How do you
sweating
feel?
so much.
Now you guys have to get killed. You showed your faces.
Now we die.
Wow.
Worth it. Whatever.
That's why
Honestly,
this
I don't know.
version is
Like,
okay.
let's
I'll-
talk.
I'll
I know-
ink on you. I'm
my
gonna ink
nose
on
is
you.
completely squished.
As a side note, I know that this is a fictional, like not a real show, but
Okay.
how do those people wear these all day long?
They must be more custom.
With like the late, yeah, it's true.
In
Maybe
that
they're more
world,
Well, did you
It's
see
like
it?
a-
You saw
I
how
think
they
it's
opened.
mesh.
They like
In
They
that
opened
world,
like
yeah,
they opened like a ladybug.
not all
like
of
the
them. I
wings.
saw one that
Like a
just went into
ladybug.
each other, like it went in.
That's what it is.
It wasn't. It didn't go out. It just
I thought
goes
they
in.
went out.
No, it goes up.
Oh.
But
I also think it's mesh. I don't think it's.
oh, it was like a
Yeah.
soft
Plastic,
mask. Yeah, this is
yeah.
plastic.
Was it?
Well, just the idea of wearing.
know.
Well, you know what's funny is we kind of all
either.
wore masks. This maybe that was a theme in the show and we missed it. No, it was made a long time ago. We wore masks because of the pandemic, but
Oh.
yeah,
Got him.
you know.
Remember that? Remember that
that?
wearing masks?
What's mask fishing?
Well, I went
Do you
to.
have heard of mask fishing?
No.
I went to Colorado last weekend. I mean, this last weekend, and some places, like obviously the airports, you have to wear a mask, and it's so weird going back because here in Santee, it's
Yeah.
like you don't have to go wear a mask
Never
anywhere.
seen a mask.
which,
Yeah.
anymore. So like having to go somewhere where it's obviously still
Oh,
a
it's
mandate.
just-
It's very interesting to go back. You're
It's
like,
just
"Oh."
LA.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it
LA
felt in
is the
Vegas
mandate
too.
still.
Vegas was every casino we went to, every hotel, you had to put
Inside.
your mask on
And that was a
inside.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like fully reset me to where we were back in San Diego, and
You're
I was
like,
like,
"Oh, mask."
"Do we have to wear a mask?" Like, "Oh, I guess we don't." No. we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the closer to cities you get,
Yeah.
the more the mandates get in
Hey, why
place.
don't you, can you
I
put
feel
your
like
mic up?
we're one of the only cities that doesn't have it right
Thank
now
you.
for indoor.
Yeah.
In the near area.
Yeah.
It was just weird because for like a year and a half we were wearing masks everywhere, and then like it kind of like went back to normal, like specifically here in Santee, and then like to go to and even in Colorado there's not a mask mandate in where I went, but like airports and all that you have to wear it, and it was just weird. Like I fully showed up to the airport and like had
Didn't have
forgotten.
one.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Ooh, shoot.
I was like, I don't have a mask, and the guy and one of the employees like hooked me up with some, which was like he
I
gave
think
me more than
at
one.
this point, since it's so occasional, it should be like if a place is requiring you to have a mask, they
provide
should just
one.
have disposables there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the
Yeah.
posture I think I
I know
take,
that's
not
a huge
intentionally,
expense
but
for like if a small business, but if
well,
they
that's
want
like
it,
how we went to a concert and
Yeah.
it was masks were required unless you were drinking because it was at a bar.
Yeah.
And they had masks though.
Yeah,
Because we
they
went
ended
there
up
and they were
having
like,
a
if you
box
don't
of
have
them there.
one, we have them.
then
So
I think that's good.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we've talked about masks for the last year and a half. We shouldn't talk about it anymore. But what were you saying about Brian Laundrie's? Sorry, Kira.
oh,
Right,
just
distracted.
She just
saying that
It fell.
you know.
Oh, it's okay. It's his
fell.
last time.
I'm distracted by
maiden
that
voyage.
giant piece of wax that is still
This one
dripping.
right here?
Yep.
I feel like
Yeah,
we could
the-
look back
the
at that
can-
video and see it very well didn't fall. It was Ryan touching it, and
I-
then it fell.
Well, it was like this,
and it was gonna come off.
and
Yeah,
it was
you're
going to
trying
go
to
into
save
the
it.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, the candles are not straight, so they are
Yeah.
all burning.
We can really feel the effects of time here in this room.
Time
Yeah.
is going by
Falling,
quick.
everything's falling right apart.
Yeah. This is our last Halloween episode, which is kind of sad. That's an interesting question.
true.
Does it feel like this, Halloween season went by kind of quick for you?
Yes, because I was not focused on Halloween.
I think the whole year is really just
time warping for you?
Time warp for me. You know what's funny is this week I did something funny where I was diving back into the What the Podcast logs. I went back and listened to the first episode. I went back and listened to. We started the show with 4 back-to-back Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
It was 1 week. And that's why our 1 year will be on your
Which,
your
by the
wedding,
way,
'cause it's
our first episode, not great.
Nope.
not
We
great.
knew
Anyway.
that. We already
Pretty
knew
weak.
that. We already knew that. It was slow.
Well, we were trying to
Well,
figure
and
it
it was
out.
just the two of us being like,
What's up?
What do you think about this
Yeah, I
whole
think it's
podcast
interesting
thing?
because the progression has gotten better. Because now, you think about it, at that time, we weren't even looking at like the news or anything that
We
was
literally sat down and we're like, you want to play a trivia game?
Yeah, we weren't thinking. Now, when I'm like watching the news or reading articles, I'm always going, "Oh, this is a
Can we
great
talk about this?
topic to talk about." You know what I'm saying? And writing
Yeah.
that down.
Yeah.
So, well, we've
Which
grown, we've learned.
I want to talk about something that went on in Hollywood this
Oh.
week. I don't know. Is it too much of a downer to talk about the Alec Baldwin situation?
No, we should totally
Talk
talk
about
about it.
Yes.
Awful.
So first of all,
says
yeah.
nothing.
Well,
Give us
Yes.
the
Take it away.
Give us the foundation.
from what I can tell, there was neglect on the set of this movie. They're shooting a movie called Rust, which is going to be this old Western type new movie, whatever.
Yeah.
And the prompts department didn't prep a gun correctly
Yeah.
in that they, on a movie set they use blanks and a gun, real guns, but they use blanks, and it's supposed to be like really safe. And I don't know if
The whole process is interesting. I read about it.
yeah. Tell me about it.
So the process of like when you bring a prop gun on is like the way that it's supposed to work is one, there's a prop master, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's never supposed to leave the cart unattended. Whether he leaves, he assigns somebody else to sit there and watch it because there's a whole process that has to happen. And that process goes like this. The AD, the first AD, assistant director, comes to the prop master. And the other big thing that they violated, there's not supposed to ever be any live ammunition
Yes.
on set. They specifically somehow had it. Now, I imagine when you have guns and whatever, there maybe is like a mistake, like you accidentally brought a bag that had ammunition or something.
Seems to
I don't
me,
know.
Sorry to cut you off. That
Go ahead.
seems like the one thing you're not supposed to
Yeah.
do.
So that was the big
it's
thing.
a prop gun.
Have
prop
a thing
is
that
the big
can
word.
kill somebody.
So that was a big
on
thing.
set.
And so because they were using like old Western guns, there was a lot of revolvers. And the way that it goes is the AD comes to the prop master and they literally like inspect each bullet together and they both verify that it's a blank or there's a BB inside. Sometimes there's a BB inside if they want like some sort of like it adds to like the sound, I think. And so they check each individual bullet as they put it into the revolver and then
Depending
the prop
on what the
master
shot is.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
prop master hands it to the AD and the AD brings it to the actor and that's how they know. Well, the problem was this AD grabbed the gun when no one was monitoring the cart, grabbed the gun off the cart, and it obviously
Didn't check
happened to
the
have
gun.
some
Check
sort of
it.
live rounds in it. Didn't check it. No, there was no check process, and it was handed to Alec Baldwin, and that's what happened. And what's interesting is that this AD specifically had an issue with firearms at their last job. Was fired off their last job because of a
Wow.
firearms situation that they didn't have the details of. So this is the second incident where this AD specifically has had mishaps with prop guns. So it was like a huge, and that came out in court today, and it was a huge deal.
Wow.
So yeah.
So explain to me how he actually shot. He ends up Alec Baldwin ends up shooting and
So-
killing
so
this
that one-
director.
They were kind of running the scene
Uh-huh.
and he was going to show, I can't remember if he was going to show the director or if
It
it
was
was
shot,
showing
like,
someone.
he was pulling it out of
showing
his
someone
revolver,
how he was
and
going to pull it
cocking
out
Yeah.
and how he was going to do it and it shot.
It was the shot, like the camera shot. There's so many different versions of shot.
Yes.
The camera shot was like he pulls it out of the holster and he like points it at the camera and then like cocks it, and I imagine like shoots it.
He went to practice.
So he
and
went to
showed them
practice,
how he was going to do
shot it.
and it went off. Like it went off, and so that's why
Wow.
the person that died is the cinematographer because she
were
was the
behind
one
the camera.
behind the camera. Then the director was like right adjacent, I imagine.
Got
And they
shot
both-
through the
And
the camera
and it was a
person.
whole thing. Yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
gnarly. Imagine Alec Baldwin, so awful.
Who apparently is an advocate for not gun violence,
Yeah.
like being a problem in America, is like a very outspoken
yeah.
against guns in America.
he was like crushed
Oh my
from all the
gosh.
reports.
Well-
like was
Could
inconsolable.
you
Is what they
imagine?
said.
Like Oh my
It's
gosh.
so hard because also like all the headlines are like
Alec Baldwin shoots.
it.
Yes.
It's like at no point was it his fault. He
Yep.
was doing his job
Well,
exactly the way it was supposed to be
And that's the
done.
problem with social media is a lot of, I would say probably some of our generation and also Gen Z, they don't understand how it all works. So they were like blaming Alec. Like on social
Well,
media,
and
they were like
also-
dragging him for a
But
long
I mean,
time.
she's right though. Is that the headlines are like
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin shoots,
Kills
camera person
so-and-so.
on set of Rust.
Well, it's people who
It's
also
like-
don't understand the way that TV film, how to shoot a scene, how any of that works.
Well,
how
you
it's
have
like
to understand
Alec Baldwin
that it
didn't
can't
bring that
It
prop
can't
gun.
be
To be fair,
the
I
actor
didn't- I mean-
ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless the actor like puts bullets in himself,
Yeah.
which they they don't.
Yeah.
It
Right.
can never be the actor's
it was
fault.
handed
you know?
to
Like,
him.
I'm going for
He's
it.
like,
This one's gonna be
You know what I'm saying?
real.
Well, and you never know, right? Like I was talking about it with coworkers, and if you look up what a blank looks like, it looks exactly like a bullet.
Yeah.
Only the top is indented with like a plastic cap.
Yeah.
Like on the inside, so
BB
when
or
it
something.
shoots
Really?
the case just like kind of opens. And
I would
it can't-
imagine Alec Baldwin didn't check the gun.
Well, no,
he's not supposed
And
to.
then-
Yeah.
But also, it's like, who's to say? Like you're in the desert with a bunch of guns. Like I would assume that at some point they're like, hey, we're all gonna go like make a makeshift shooting range. Let's bring some live ammo.
Maybe
and
that
do
Oh,
seems like
interesting.
that
Or-
seems like such a liability.
Yeah,
right? Like
I don't Well, I'm
to
sure
have
they
a
didn't get
real
a-
bullet anywhere near that place where
Yeah.
Alec's going to be aiming a gun and shooting at somebody.
Who knows?
Well-
I don't know what the actual report is, but that's what the guy that I was watching. He was like kind of analyzing. He was a prop master, and he was like had a TikTok and was like breaking
You
down
want to get
everything.
this really quick?
That candle is completely gone, by the way.
Oh,
Woo!
wow!
But also, like, who's
Ew.
to say it wasn't
buddy.
a faulty,
Yeah.
blank?
I would imagine
like,
it,
they-
Well, and
it takes a
also-
lot of people to have a mistake like that happen on
Yeah.
such a
And
a
on
big
the set, there were
Hollywood
probably
set.
a ton of guns. If this is an old country western thing, there's more than one gun.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's just like it's the mix of like neglect and also just like a terrible happenstance.
Yes.
You know, like just like the way it all
Horrible
worked out.
accident.
Makes
Plus
you wonder how
also-
many times that has happened. How many
Or
instances
been
of
Probably
that
closed.
a
on?
ton, and no one says anything.
I do
All
wonder.
your NDAs are signed, and no
It
one can
just
say
sucks.
anything.
Like I can't imagine being Alec Baldwin. Like so awful. Like you, and especially like I didn't know this, but you obviously said like he's obviously a big anti firearms advocate.
Yeah.
Of, like or I imagine there's more to it, but and, like having that like stature and then like coming in and having this kind of accident is probably like so
Devastating.
for him.
Yeah.
You know, because
Absolutely
it
devastating.
would, and I think it would probably change. The heaviness of it if you like maybe weren't like an anti-gun advocate, like maybe if you were like, oh, I have a couple guns, like maybe you're like, oh, it's an accident, it's awful, you know what I'm saying? But to have that kind of like posture towards it and then have this kind of
I
accident,
just wonder how that shakes out. Like, does
heavy.
he now? Can he be tried for like manslaughter?
no,
Can
no.
the people on set be
the
like?
the way that the waivers work, from what
Yeah,
I
no
understand,
way.
if there's any blame, it's going to happen on the prop master and the AD because that's their responsibility. Was prop master's not supposed to leave the car unattended, and the AD is supposed to do that check thing.
I just found a really
and he didn't,
bad article.
or they didn't. I don't know if it's male or female.
You found a bad article.
Yeah. So
Poorly written.
Donald Trump Jr. is selling T-shirts on his website that read "Guns don't kill Alec Baldwin" or "Guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people."
Well, yeah, I heard a whole thing about how they're making it
Yikes.
What
like
a-
a lot of like hardcore like Trump
Yikes.
supporters are making it almost like a karma got you for your impersonation of Trump on SNL. Like that they're
yikes.
taking this
That's
stance of
not
like
cool.
this is what you get for impersonating Trump like that.
This
And-
one's saying that he came out saying it's because he is anti-gun,
Oh, really?
and it's taking more of that stance. Like you're just gonna blame the gun.
Yikes! It's a lot. Like
Oh.
I just can't imagine.
Welcome
this is,
to the world
Yeah,
we
this is
live
the
in.
problem.
That is
with
the world we live
yeah,
in right
yeah,
now.
exactly. That is exactly right. That is a perfect
my
example
little heart.
of how awful social media.
Can
and
you
the world is
imagine
right now.
something so devastating to you happening?
And then somebody's
like
making
that,
shirts.
and then somebody's making like a spectacle of it.
like somebody's
Oh my
selling
God.
shirts that
There's
you
like-
kill people with?
Like
a gun.
I'm all about joking about like tragic things happening in your life, but
That's
not
how you deal with it. Yeah.
like, oh my God, ugh, that I hate that.
Oh yeah,
I
so
hate
this
it.
is saying that the assistant director He handed the gun to Baldwin, and he yelled "cold gun," which means it's empty. It was not empty.
Yeah.
Oh, so even more so, there wasn't even supposed to be blanks in it.
They were supposed to be empty.
Yeah, and I remember reading something about the cold gun, but I didn't
It says
know what
live
was.
rounds, so it probably
Oh.
did have blanks.
Okay.
But you yell "cold gun" when you're handing a gun to someone that doesn't have live
Wow.
rounds.
What do you,
Well,
so
it
you
wasn't-
yell hot gun?
Because the
Probably.
interesting part was,
I wonder.
they wondered, the speculation at the beginning was sometimes there are rare cases where part of the shell,
Yes.
even in a blank, will break off.
If you're
and
close
that will
to
get,
that
like,
person.
lodged. But it's never like the amount that a bullet would, because it's just like a piece of metal. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely
It's still
would,
a shrapnel.
it would injure you, but it wouldn't.
Yeah.
The likelihood of you dying is low.
low.
But that's why they're saying when the report came out that one, the cinematographer passed away and the director was wounded. They're like, this
It
is
was a
not
bullet.
shrapnel here. This is like
Yeah.
real deal
Bullet.
stuff. Yeah.
Of course.
Wow.
Just really awful stuff. And like you said, this is a culmination of where the world's at. You know, it's like you can't even. This can't even happen. You know, tragedies used to bring us together in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. And this is like not necessarily like a mass tragedy, but you would think that at one
But how
place
sad
we could
it's
meet
like, you
in the
know,
middle and be
where
like,
can we,
hey,
nowadays it's like, where can we put the blame right
Yeah.
now? Like, who's going to take blame for this?
oh, where can we come together and say that is really awful? Like, I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like
Ugh.
everybody.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because
everyone.
everyone
Different
should look
world.
at this situation and go, that is an awful accident.
And maybe that's how the world works. Maybe we're
Yeah.
a little, I mean,
maybe we're
sheltered
yeah,
from that.
honestly,
Too
probably.
optimistic.
Yeah, rough stuff.
Well,
It makes me think of like back in the day, the old westerns. They didn't have blanks. They were
Props.
just going for
Oh, you're
it.
talking
They're
about, like, spaghetti
"Bow, bow,
westerns?"
bow, bow, bow."
yeah, John Wayne.
They're like, everyone duck. Bow, bow.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what's so interesting is I think also, you know, maybe the industry has gotten too comfortable with the use
Yeah.
of guns, you know, because when they do all these checks and they are using blanks and the gun becomes less of like a harmful
Yeah.
like weapon and
Yeah.
it really becomes a prop, and they go like, oh, it's no big deal, you know, like when you're a kid and you had like play
Were you allowed
whatever
to have play
guns, you were
guns?
just like wow wow wow, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
all the time.
Was
Yeah.
isn't
You
that
were
a
all
thing?
allowed to have,
Nerf
like,
guns
fake
and
guns.
No,
water
no.
guns.
Tons of
I
Nerf
was not
guns.
allowed to have fake guns at all.
No.
Really?
I snuck bought one that had like the.
In your backpack.
Well, no, I bought it at like I was with friends.
You snuck
and I
bought
bought
a fake
it without
gun?
my parents' permission, without them there.
Okay.
And it was like green and orange and yellow, and it was totally fake. But it had the,
Oh,
like,
I can imagine the
the
one.
gunpowder roll, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
would make the noise.
Oh, yeah, like
And
a-
I had
a cap
it,
gun.
Yeah, and I had it like hidden, and my dad found it at one point.
He's like, what is
And he-
this?
Yeah, oh, 100. He came in. He
Holds
was
it up
like,
like this.
He was like, Annie, did you buy this? You know I don't like these. I'm taking it. And he confiscated my fake gun, but I was obsessed with cowboys, so that's all I
Oh my
wanted
gosh.
it for. is I
Oh my
wanted a cowboy.
gosh.
I love that
But-
about
Yeah.
you.
Now, fast forward to today. Literally
Here.
today,
Same thing
searching for this
happened.
costume,
Oh, okay. You found the cap gun.
I found 5 real guns in my family, in my
Oh.
house.
Dad.
And what I believe it is I believe it is inherited from when my grandfather passed away.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I knew about some like of the bigger ones. Like
Yeah.
we had like a couple like shotguns
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
inherited.
Oh yeah.
I find
Oh.
I found like
With
a
all the
little,
games?
like a handgun.
They're all in the same
today.
place.
Wow.
And I was
The guns and everything.
I was like,
Holy
what
smokes.
has
They're all
my
next to the
family
games.
become?
Next to Twister.
Nice.
I won't tell the internet where in my house we have the gun hidden.
That's probably good.
With the
But
games.
here's where I live.
But here it's at
When
this
I was a kid,
address.
it was like that was the game to play. You know, like the whole
Nerf guns,
situation. It's
count
like,
guns,
and
very much into that.
But I will say, my
Guns.
parents, at least my dad, was always like, even with a fake gun, was all about gun safety.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
never
Don't
point
at
it
anyone.
at,
With a
at
Nerf gun?
yeah, or just at somebody's face. Like
Yep.
he was like, don't point it at somebody's
We
face.
were never. Did you
like-
ever do like airsoft?
Oh yeah, tons of it.
See, we weren't allowed to do airsoft.
Oh, really?
No, we went. Notably,
Paintballing?
we went to well, we could like do it, but it wasn't. We never owned paintball guns. We never owned airsoft
Yeah,
guns.
almost
We
a
could
little
like
too
if we were
real.
at a friend's house and they had it, it was like whatever, who cares? But
Oh my gosh, we
but my
used to
mom was
go-
a big advocate for like you'll shoot your eye out, like
yeah.
from the Christmas
Yeah.
story.
And now
right?
you have that gun.
That was her, and now I have a airsoft,
Red Ryder.
or a BB gun. Pretty
Yeah, I
fond
mean,
of.
we used to go every summer and really every school break, and we would go So we had a cabin in Palomar, and we would like it just had like a bunch of space out in the woods.
Sure.
And like it was like a little tiny cabin, and we would all my friends and my brother's friends would like get in the car with my dad, and we'd go for the weekend, and we would just like I remember always buying like whatever BB gun or I guess like airsoft gun
Sure.
that I wanted right before because you just never needed it.
Yeah.
Like, we only used them up there really.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, it was a great time, and that was like so much fun because you, like, I think as a kid you always like, I don't know, it's so weird because I'm not like that in real life now, but I
Sure.
always liked like the military tactics of like running around and duck behind.
You played a lot of
things,
Call of Duty, I'm sure.
Laser tag.
I tried video games. I had a hard time with. I never really liked
I
video
was
games.
all about
but
Call of Duty.
really,
Oh yeah, Call
It's
of Duty
so
Black
funny.
Ops came out. Whew.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Zombies, come on.
Yeah.
oh zombies.
The
everyone's on.
duality of like, I am so with Alec Baldwin on like, nobody should have assault rifles in this country. Assault weapons in this country are
Yeah.
a joke and a just downright like menace to society. That being said,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Well, here's what I should preface with. I've never
Yeah.
fired a gun in my life.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I've never fired a real gun in my life.
See, I've shot both an assault rifle and a handgun, and I'm not gonna be like
Where?
my cousin.
I got a hookup.
My
I
cousin's
got
like
assault rifle hookup.
I
She's
love that
on
you just
it.
went. Assault rifles have no place in this country. They're like,
They don't.
I shot-
That being
No,
said-
okay. So my cousin shoots competitively.
Olympics.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
like
Oh,
Olympic
that's kinda
shooter.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
super
goes
cool.
like
That's not
travels all
surprising
over the
at all,
country and shoots and it's great for her and
Just like,
everything.
you know?
And so we all went to this indoor shooting range off of Marina Boulevard and went and shot these guns, and it was like a blast. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's something. It's so powerful and
Scary.
it's really scary because you're in there with a bunch of other people that are also shooting guns, and
yeah.
it's just this like weird experience. But it's like, I don't want to say like, oh, I get it, because I don't get the obsession with it, because there's definitely an obsession in this
Yeah.
country with it. But I can understand like the hype around it.
I don't
guess.
think I'll ever shoot a gun.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Really?
I feel like I grew up. Like I said, my dad was not big on guns. I grew up like my mom's family going to the desert.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh,
Sure.
we'd set up something and someone would bring out BB guns or pellet guns or, and then eventually they'd start bringing out like real guns.
Yeah.
And I've only shot like a real gun a couple of times.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
like it was like my dad was always like, you have to be a certain age.
Yeah.
I think he just didn't like, not to lack of the safety of like if I need to protect myself, but I think like he's like, I just don't want you to know how to use a gun. Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
don't need
just
to know how
such
to use
a
gun.
huge thing to take on, to be like, I'm a gun owner.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the amount of, and just as something is obviously there's a different situation, but like you're on this movie set and it's something that can literally take a person's life, like right now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things can, but
Well,
you
that's
know,
like
it's
That's what I'm
just
saying
such
is
a-
I think there's
it's
that
such
switch.
this force,
Yeah.
that I don't know if people need. Like, why do you
That's
need
like-
a gun
go ahead.
for?
I was gonna say recently, in San Diego, they've been holding like once a month. You bring all the guns that you have that you,
Yeah,
if you want to
the-
get rid
A
of them.
buyback.
Yeah,
Buyback.
as like an incentive, like oh,
Yeah.
we'll give you a bunch of gift cards if you give us your old guns to get rid of.
Well,
My-
it's
Yeah.
more, it's geared towards, if I'm not mistaken, like dirty guns.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
getting
Unregistered
those off
ones.
of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got
Well,
my dad's rifle
what's
like
funny
that I don't
is-
want anymore. It's
I'd
like,
rather
I-
have an Applebee's
I
gift
have,
card.
I have a friend who is a police officer, and they said that like at one of those buybacks, they used to work them all the time, that some old woman came with like a ton of like antique guns.
Oh,
And they were like, these are like collectible. Like
Yeah.
collectible. It wasn't like
Yes.
normal guns. It was like collectible like stuff.
musket
She's like-
kind of
And
vibe,
she's
you're
like, yeah, my husband like
I don't want 'em.
was really into collecting these, but he's
go to a collector.
and she just like turned them all in for like
Wow.
$30
I
or
would
whatever
like-
you get for
I'm
that.
like, thank you.
Wow.
I'll take
Yeah, it's
those
interesting.
and flip those.
Yeah, and so it was just it's funny at those buybacks,
It's
you
because
get to see
at
everything.
that point, those antique guns, do they even work anymore? Like the ones where you have to fill the gunpowder
Sure. You ever
and
see,
like
what's that show where they go and open up the storage units and
Storage Wars.
or Pawn Stars or Storage Wars, whatever. They're always testing those old guns, and they're like, yeah, it works. Like,
It's definitely risky. But,
Yeah. And you have to know
that's
how to
what-
use it.
That's
Yeah.
what I was saying about the TV set is I think it's arguably more dangerous on on these movie sets because Everything just has become so like, oh, it's just a prop. You know what I'm saying? And they're not thinking about it.
I disagree.
In the
I think
context.
it has every reason to be safer.
No, it
there.
should be, but I'm saying it's not. I'm saying
Now
I'm
it
saying
will
it
be.
should be, but and it probably will be now. But I'm saying that's why
it'll
that
be
happened.
more safe than it was. I think this was a fluke. Honestly, I think this was a random. It's in the news right now because you're not hearing about like the dangers of guns on set all the time. That's supposed to be like a, here's what we do. Like you said, like there's a whole process for it. So.
Well, I think of all like the cop shows, right? And the reality is, majority of those guns are real guns on those props because you want the actor to actually have, the weight of it. The whole idea is for the actor to be a better actor with giving them a prop that is the most realistic as possible. And yeah, you could, mold and create a fake gun out of steel or whatever and have no inner
like
workings.
a prop gun, yeah, sure.
That was the part about
a dummy gun.
This too. That's why they ended up being real revolvers too, because some of the guns they can like fabricate into like being truly fake. And it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, revolvers are the ones that they have to end up using like real ones
mechanically
because it because of the thing rotates.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts with the revolver that like they can't successfully replicate in like a truly fake gun.
Is there a
which
thing in California where like a fake gun has to have like an orange cap?
Or
Orange?
like a toy gun.
Like a-
Well, I think, anything that's not real
I think
has to have
so.
an orange cap.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes.
Like it has to be visible.
There's some kind of rule.
Yeah, it has to be
of
visible.
that.
Because a police officer can stop and
Do you used to
ask
spray
you.
paint your toy guns?
Yeah.
No,
'Cause
my
definitely did.
middle school went on full lockdown, like full shooter on campus lockdown.
So scary.
Because some kids with airsoft guns were in like the field behind the school, and they had sawed off the orange tip. Because it's
Jeez.
like
Sure.
fundamentally like
How
attached.
terrifying.
And they sawed it off because they wanted it to be more realistic in them, and they're just shooting each other with, airsoft guns. Teacher sees it, doesn't see the orange tip, calls
Well,
the
yeah.
cops.
Wow.
We were on lockdown for 3 hours.
Wow.
Keep
And
in
it was just
mind,
a bunch of
my
kids.
math teacher thought it was a drill, so she just closed the blinds and closed the door, and we
She's
just
like,
kept
"We're
on
still
working.
learning." Yeah.
we're fine. I get out of school and everyone's like crying, and they're like,
You're like,
"Oh, that
"What's
was so
going on?"
scary." We're sitting in the corner. So and so peed in the like trash can in the corner.
Oh my
We're just
gosh.
And you're like, we did
we're
work
like,
the whole
"What?"
time.
You what? They're like, "Yeah, we were in lockdown." I was like, I did not know
They
that.
didn't say like this is not a drill over the speaker.
No, they just-
That was a big thing for my dad. He about the
School
orange
shooters
tip.
or
No, the
what?
orange tip. He's like, you have
Yeah.
I could never mess with the orange tip like at all. I never wanted to, but
We
you know
used
what I'm
to
saying.
get like cap guns and like spray paint them black.
Crazy.
Because we used to make a lot of like home
Home
movies and
movies.
stuff, like
He's
videos
like, it
where
was a prop. It
It's
was
a prop,
first-
where it was
man.
like cops and cowboys and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
So we were always doing shenanigans like that. But I also lived on a cul-de-sac, so I was kind of like
Secluded. Yeah. Everyone knew who you were.
Yeah. This one time, I was like, there's this lot by Matt. Did I tell this story on the podcast?
No.
Seemed
I can
kind of
tell you
familiar,
haven't.
There's this, now there's a house there, but there was this dirt lot on our street. And there was like bushes and stuff, like dry brush. And one time we're all, we were always playing like survival, and we were always like, out there with our toy guns and stuff. And so I like took, I had like a little book of matches and like set this bush on fire.
Oh my gosh.
And I was with my cousins and my sister. And my sister was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "My hands are cold. You gotta
Like,
come
we're
on.
trying to
We gotta start a
survive
fire." I'm like,
here.
"It's survival out here." And like the next day, my cousins were like staying with us for a weekend or something. And my mom goes, "Somebody told me that you and your cousins were setting fires in the dirt lot." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Somebody told you?"
Who was it?
I wonder. She's like, "It doesn't matter who." She's like, "It could have been somebody on the street." I'm like, "Okay, it was Olivia."
Don't you love that when parents do that?
I
They try
love
and
it.
like they
I
try and
love
be
it.
like, I heard.
She's like, "You can't do that. You could start a fire." I'm like,
And that's what
"Okay."
started Ryan's pyromania.
Yeah, well,
You know what's funny is I had a similar thing. It was not lighting a bush on fire, but I watched a lot of Survivor when I was a
Yeah,
kid,
sure.
of course,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it was so cool when they had like the torches. So I remember I like as
A
a, fun,
torch,
yeah,
like-
as a fun
like
experience.
Indiana Jones
I
kinda
took
thing?
like a drumstick and I wrapped like paper around the top of it,
Yeah,
and
you
I lit
did.
it on fire, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then I remember like somebody came into the side yard, and I was like nervous, so I thought I had put it out. And like threw it on the ground.
No way.
And then like I went into the into the garage and like into the house, and then somebody was like, "I found this thing on fire. Like it didn't go out." And they're like, one of my siblings was like, I found this stick on fire in the side yard. Like it was like right next to the house. And like I put it out and they're like, who was that? I was like, I don't know.
You're like, who
I
would do
I have
that?
no idea.
Ryan, did you get
Who
rid of
would
those
do such a
Only knew
videos?
it was me, I'm sure.
The what?
Did you get rid of those videos?
What videos?
The ones that you used to make Shimmy Productions?
They're hidden, I
Okay,
think.
well, we don't actually have to put it on the show today.
You hid them, huh?
Maybe I
Oh,
did. Maybe I
probably.
didn't.
They're not on YouTube
They're
anymore.
safe. Well, they're safe now.
They're somewhere
We
safe.
did
They're
a
in the
whole
archives.
we did a whole
They're in the
expose
vault.
of that on Growing Pains with Danny. Go ahead and listen to my
ahead.
Ryan's Year of Yes episode. Pop on
Circle
over to
back.
Growing Pains with Danny.
Come
but
on.
you don't have to expose me twice, so thanks.
Yeah, if you could just like hold
If you
on.
could just like, well, John's got a
Dang.
game.
Oh yeah, you want to play the game?
Yeah, let's play the
do
game.
it.
Yeah.
The hood's got to come off.
Ryan's
Frankly.
I'm taking the
I'm
gloves off.
sweating my behind off right now, and I'm so constrained. Like my chest is like tight right now because of this freaking jumpsuit. It's going right back to Walmart. The minute this is over, I'm taking it to Walmart.
Hey, we should.
That's not
On
true.
our way to dinner.
Or
Hey,
way to-
Walmart, we got.
What's it gonna be tonight? I had a
Okay.
thought like it might be BJ's, but
Oh really? So we talked about candies
Halloween
last
candy.
week. But this is like it's more like treats. It says candy, but it's more like treats because it's not all candy in my opinion. But what the fun thing I did is I posted this on our Instagram story.
Halloween candy, eat or yeet.
Yeet.
A game for picky
Eat or
eaters.
yeet.
That's yeet, like you chuck it.
Yeah, like you don't want it.
Yeah.
It's either like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want
yeah.
it or you don't. And I posted all of these things on our Instagram story, and I had people vote on whether they would eat or yeet. So as we play, you'll get to know what a majority of our audience actually thinks about these things as well. It's pretty straightforward. You just tell me if you eat it or you eat it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so the first one.
So we're just guessing what the masses think.
No, you guess what you think, and
Oh,
then I'll
okay.
tell you what the majority said.
Okay.
If you're curious. Popcorn ball. By the way, have you ever had a popcorn ball?
Yes. Yes,
So
I am.
A popcorn ball.
You've never had a
Do you
popcorn
you would eat it, huh? Yeah, you would.
100% eat.
Okay, wait.
Think of like a Rice
Describe
Krispie
to me-
treat, but instead of that,
it's
it's popcorn
popcorn
all
with
melted.
marshmallows?
Yeah,
Marshmallows?
it's sweet. It's almost like if they
kettle
got
corn
kettle
in a
they have like
ball.
kettle corn and then they just molded it
You know
and
what's
let it
funny?
cool.
Okay, I mean, eat. Sounds
Eat.
great.
Well, what you would eat them? Eat it?
Yeah,
sure.
Eat.
I think
Did
most
the
people said
masses
yeet,
say
though.
yeet?
The masses said yeet.
Yeah, no, I'd
What's
eat
wrong
that.
I mean,
with you?
My mom said yeet. Your mom said eat.
It has
course
the,
she did. She
I
loves
mean, I feel like it
popcorn.
has the potential to be crusty.
Olivia says yeet.
Yeet.
Wow.
Isn't that
You know what?
interesting?
I
Well,
think
who
it's
needs it?
like-
Like your fifth grade class had a bake sale and somebody made popcorn balls.
No,
like,
no one makes it. It's like packaged. Like they're
What?
packaged.
Christopher,
Yes,
Christopher
yes.
Ennis says yeet. A lot of people said yeet.
Wow.
needs
Michael
'em?
Pinning said yeet. Really weird,
You know
right?
what, Michael? Come hop on, and we're gonna
Hey,
talk about this in person.
I'm right there with you guys. Yeet.
Real,
I say
oh
yeet.
my
No,
gosh.
next
now
week
he's
you're
all
trying a
over.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Deal.
All right. Candy corn. Now this is controversial.
Yeah, it is.
This is really controversial.
I'm gonna
I-
say the masses say yeet, but I
That's 'cause
might
you hate
say
it.
I'm gonna say they say eat.
I feel
but
like
I would say
this
yeet.
is one of those
Eat,
ones that
eat,
I can
eat.
eat one piece of candy corn a year and then I'm done.
And it's fine.
I'm
But if you have like
"Yep,
a
I say eat.
handful,
I
Eat,
love
eat,
it.
eat.
But-
I could eat them all day long, and they're dangerous for me.
Me too. Me too.
Do you believe that there's a difference between the candy corn and the pumpkins?
the pumpkins.
Oh, the pumpkins,
pumpkins
do
are
not
rough.
taste
David
good.
Pumpkins
S.
are rough.
Pumpkins.
There's definitely a difference.
So wait, you said eat. You said,
I would say yeet.
I'd
then-
probably say yeet.
and I would say eat. The masses say eat 11 to 8.
Wow. What? Did Tina answer
Who are
that
these
one?
masses?
Tina said
I need to
eat.
talk
She
to
put
them.
candy corn
Got
out.
some good response on the old.
This is the same people
story.
that
I know.
that they ask Family Feud questions to. I'm like, who
Cat
are
Penning,
you?
Cat Penning said eat. Jake Kitten said eat. So
Candy
you know they,
corn? I mean,
are
Yummy.
big
And
fans.
then it's like the thing where like I
expired
can eat it.
bubble gum or something.
No.
Yeah, like
Oh.
I'm fine eating it, but I can only eat like
Yeah.
one or two pieces and then it's done.
So good.
Oh, now this is an overwhelming on one side. Smarties.
Oh, eat.
Eat.
Did you
Eat?
ever
That's an eat.
snort?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Stop.
gosh! You didn't actually
Stop.
snort them, did you?
Yeah, of course.
It hurts so bad.
Really?
I never did.
not good.
I wanted to. I never
Does
did.
not
I did the thing
stop
where you
feel
like
good.
broke them up and then
And
you
you
like pretend
smoke
like it
them?
was a cigarette and you would like, when you like puff out the smoke.
Yeah, you would.
I did.
Oh,
I did.
the
That was right after
rapper.
you burned your torch on the side of the
Okay,
house.
back off. Back off.
Who would
that's
do
what
that?
started the fire.
His little Smarty
He
cigarette.
didn't step on it.
That's
So
good.
the majority,
not happening.
overwhelmingly, people said eat.
Yeah.
13
Everybody
to
likes-
4. It
Everybody
was a
likes
big.
Smarties.
Yep.
That was great.
Everybody
They're a
did.
good
I'm
snack.
trying to see if any. Oh, Christopher Nennis said yeet.
How dare you,
that
Chris?
guy?
Okay, Chris.
My birthday toy.
Olivia said yeet.
Roast them publicly.
Olivia. Really?
Come on.
Hey, leave a comment in the comment section below.
Now this is controversial in my mind.
Overwhelming on
What?
one side. Very much overwhelming on
Oh,
one side.
eat.
I'm gonna say yeet.
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 It is not the trouble to eat it. How
Gets
like,
right there in your tooth and then it stays
it's
there forever.
Not worth the taste.
Not worth it.
No, it's so good.
Everyone said eat. 14,
Eat?
14 eats and 5 yeets.
See, for me, like I will gladly say that it's a delicious snack. The effort I have to go in to eat it, not worth it. to me.
just gotta cut it.
Todd Foy said yeet.
He don't like fruit, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I've heard that actually.
Yeah.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
here we go.
Any
Go ahead.
Like any
Tootsie
fruit.
No.
Roll.
Not a
Or
one.
veggies.
Tyler, we're gonna talk about that.
Tootsie Roll.
This one's hard for me.
This one's kind of
The-
even.
I was obsessed with these as a kid. I OD'd on Tootsie Rolls. I can't eat them anymore.
I
Yeah,
like
I
them.
say yeet. They taste too much like
OD'd on 'em.
nothing, like plastic.
Yeah, I'd probably go with
Yeet.
yeet.
They're like the chocolate that your mom gives you. She doesn't want you to sit there and actually eat chocolate.
It is. It's
She's
kind of like
Yeah.
the chocolate we have at home. You
So
know,
Yeah.
you wouldn't eat one. You wouldn't eat one.
Oh,
Would you?
McDonald's.
like we
you-
have
that's what
candy
it
at
is.
home.
we know you eat.
I would
Tootsie
say
Rolls.
no.
Now?
Nowadays, no.
I would say not. Yeah, I would say yeet now. But when I was a kid,
When
I had
I
a
was
lot
a kid,
of them.
oh yeah.
What everybody say?
The masses say 11 to eat
Oh,
and
wow.
7 to eat.
These
So
masses.
I mean, what am I gonna say? No to a Tootsie Roll? Of course
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I would
no,
say
but this
Tootsie
is about
Rolls.
no.
I
This
would
isn't
say no to
about.
a
This
Tootsie
isn't
Roll.
about opportunity. This is about
This is
you
about
get to
the
choose
consumption of it.
Like you get to choose whether or not you want it. It's not like
Maybe
it's
I
just
don't like
there.
candy.
You know what I'm saying? Because I
pass.
would eat it all.
I'll
Probably.
pass on it. I do
All
like
right.
chocolate, but it's not even
It's
like
not chocolate.
It's not even chocolate. It's like
This is
It's like the taffy version.
this next
of
one is
chocolate.
childhood unlocked for me. Bottle caps.
Oh no!
I just
I'd
have
eat
that.
those.
I just
I'd
have
eat
that.
those.
That like
Yeah.
Dr
Yeah, yeah.
Pepper in my mouth. Yeet.
the bottle caps.
I
Bye
eat 'em.
bye.
They tasted like
Nope.
I'd probably eat them.
vitamins.
It's just
No.
chalk.
Yeah, just shock. You could draw.
It
Did
was. Ugh.
people say yeet?
gross.
Tell me they said yeet.
10 said yeet,
Yeah.
and 9 said eat.
Wow.
So
We've had
Pretty-
a not consistent number of
Noah was
responses.
obsessed
Yeah.
with those.
Bottle caps.
Yes.
wax bottles, another childhood
yeah.
unlocked.
The Holy Grail. That's a for sure childhood unlocked.
Those like if you got one of those in your Halloween,
Consider yourself lucky.
So, this is an overwhelming on one side as well.
Yeet.
100% eat.
No, everybody's saying
No. Yeet.
Eat.
4 people said eat.
What?
14
Yeah,
said
no.
eat.
Nope. Nope.
I would say eat.
they're
I think
pretty-
these are so awesome.
They're so
Oh,
ratchet.
they were
though.
so
I mean, what
gross.
is that? You're chewing like wax off of this thing to drink a little bit of
It
like
was still cool,
Otter
though.
Pop
You
juice?
can make
Like,
one right now. Take that wax and pour some of your coffee
Okay.
in there.
No, it's not edible wax. But
Next.
yeah, I think they're great, but that's me.
Blech.
Yeah, well,
Double
No.
bubble.
eat. That's an eat for sure.
You yeet that.
I eat
It's
it.
like chewing a rock.
Yeah.
And
But
then
it's
after
great
2
for a little bit.
Yeah. It's great for
Literally,
You know what?
30 seconds.
When we were
I've been
kids,
chasing that high ever
remember
since.
Big League Chew.
Yeah.
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 Put your tobacco in
Double
it,
bubble
right?
bit.
You always redid the
a baseball
Sandlot
player.
scene
Like
Yeah.
this one.
where they put the chew in.
Yeah.
The Instagram says
So good.
overwhelmingly eat.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
12 to 5.
Bubble.
Ugh,
So-
the flavor
What, you
goes
don't
away
like
so
bubble gum?
fast.
What are you, a
No,
communist?
I'm a juicy
Okay,
fruit.
next up.
communist. Here we go. Now this says orange and black taffy, but I just said taffy in general.
I've never had orange black taffy, but
Well, no, it just see it as
You ever have
taffy.
a saltwater taffy?
I
No?
like taffy.
listen, I was not a taffy person.
Okay, well then there's
I
your answer.
started the job I have now. And we
Oh.
had taffy in the back.
Did
Me
you
and
say
my
no?
boss alone have eaten
And I
the
said
whole
yes.
thing of taffy.
Your mom
Wow.
says eat.
It's not
Yeah.
something to be proud of. Eat
She
it.
doesn't like taffy.
I would
love
say
taffy
eat.
now.
I mean,
I like taffy.
some of my favorite.
I like it when there's a lot of
What
flavor.
did the
Sometimes
masses
you get
say?
some that are like not enough flavor.
Masses say 7 eat and 11 eat. So on the eat side, but
Pretty-
it's pretty
pretty
split.
even, yeah.
pretty split. That's our last one. Are you
I
ready?
don't know if I have an opinion about taffy. Go ahead.
Not yet.
Next one.
It is Warheads.
Oh, eat.
Sour.
Eat.
That's a win. An absolute win.
This is a neck and neck
no.
one.
My tongue just got like
It's funny because this is like I didn't mean it to be, but this is like the closest voting
Yeah.
situation. But it's the
Really?
last one. Yeah.
Did you ever have
I'd say eat.
contests with warheads?
Who could last longest? Yeah.
Who could
Just pop a bunch in your mouth.
Yeah, have a bunch in your mouth. Like everyone has to put 5 in your mouth.
It's kind of
and
making
whoever
me sick
can, like,
thinking about it.
Yeah,
Like just the like.
Yeah, those candies that like coat your mouth and like that weird like
So rough.
syrupy, bleh, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That is like when I was a kid, I ate that stuff like
Yeah,
nobody's
for
business.
sure.
Now I'm like, if I can avoid it, I'll avoid it. You know what I'm saying?
I'd eat a warhead right now.
Me too.
Oh, I need it for a bit for sure. You know what I'm saying? For a
Oh,
video.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
well, we
remember when
will.
we ate the ghost pepper tender on the 25-hour live stream?
That was
could I
so
forget?
good.
That is something I would never do. By
Are we
the
going
way.
to Dave's tonight?
Yeah, I think we should. But
Eat.
okay,
Wait,
so
hold on.
so who do you now? This is interesting. Last one. Who do you think like Instagram? Like, where did Instagram go on this? Eat or yeet?
I'm gonna say yeet.
You
gonna
said it
say
was pretty
eat.
close.
Very close.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
say
say it was
yeet
Yeah.
with a Y.
Yeet, yeet.
Eat.
They went eat on this 9 to 8.
Nice.
Very close.
Interesting. Very close.
And that is this rendition of Eat or
Eat or
Yeet,
Yeet.
Halloween edition.
There's a little
Wow.
theme song for that.
doesn't really
Oh.
sound like a word anymore. Hold on.
Eat or yeet.
You've got to decide if you're gonna eat or eat. You've got to decide if you're gonna eat or eat.
Interesting.
stupid.
So good.
No, that's good. I like it.
You've
Wow.
got to decide if you're gonna eat or eat.
Thank you for everyone that participated on Instagram. Appreciate it.
And if you
I
wanna
thought it'd be kind of
participate
interesting
in
to
the
have
next
the public masses like kind of vote on it. You know,
Yes.
Yeah. What's the next one, Annie?
Well, I don't know, but if you want to participate in it,
Follow
go
us on
follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram.
link in
At
bio.
what the podcast?
At What's the Podcast 2020?
2020.
And if you want to see all the
I like
cool
them
costumes
2020.
we've had,
It kind of like marks when we started, but also just like how this podcast kind of came to be. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Just like
Oh, yeah.
madness.
Via 2020.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought, but
Good times.
Wow.
But maybe not.
what
it was. You didn't like it? You didn't enjoy it?
What I've noticed is I don't
You
trust
just prepped
people's
it
candy
so much. You're like, I
preferences.
thought it was a lot of fun. But, hey.
Go ahead and
not
take,
everyone's
just
cup of
go
tea,
ahead
you
and
know?
take that whole thing off.
Yeah, I'm going to just.
Beep.
This is really the sign
They've all
of
gone
the
out
end of
except for
Halloween.
that one.
So, what do you think is next? I mean, we did the whole COVID 19 thing. What's coming down the pipe, you think?
Well, hopefully some good stuff.
True.
I will say, Betty White turns 100 this year.
Oh, so excited.
that-
Way to jinx it.
Why'd you have to say that?
Well, I'm not jinxing anything.
You better knock on
I'm
wood.
not jinx. I'm not knocking on wood.
What did
Come
I
on.
better
What did I
pray
hear on
to-
the radio? I
It's
heard
Every
March.
that.
deity, any deity you can think of,
What
you
was
better
it?
start praying,
Betty
bro.
White.
Better play the alligator.
Betty White says, "What is it? Not the. What's the word? Not
I'm fine.
regards. Like gives credit to.
What are you talking about?
Like. I'm
What's
just gonna
the
say
rest of the
gives credit.
sentence?
Go
Betty
ahead.
White gives credit for her old age
To who?
to vodka and hot dogs.
Oh,
That's what they said
I
on the
love her.
radio.
I love her so much.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Vodka
She's the
and
best.
So what's the
hot
word that I'm
dogs.
looking for?
I would
Gives
say
credit
a
to, yeah,
A
credits. Yeah.
A credits, I guess. Yeah.
Credits
thing.
her.
A credits.
think
Vodka
that's
and
kinda
hot
cool.
dogs.
The oldest lady in the world said she drinks 3, what is it, Dr. Peppers a day or
I
something?
thought it was glasses of wine.
No, Dr. Pepper. I remember it
I
was
think it's
soda
Dr.
or
Pepper
something.
she drinks every single
Yeah.
day.
I mean,
You
is
know-
that the trick to old age, you think?
Is
My-
to have something bad.
I think it's a mix of
my
genetics.
great grandpa lived to 94, 95.
Yeah.
He smoked cigarettes his entire life, almost 100 years of smoking cigarettes and drinking, and, you know, Mexican blood, man.
Yeah. Well, you know,
So,
hey,
so what is the, I mean, what's the cure to life?
I think. Well, you know, it's funny. I watched a little like YouTube series where they went to this place in Italy where that like this specific town in Italy has like holds the world record for like some of the oldest people. And it's like they kind of studied the people there, and they like went over the diet and like what they eat.
It's got to be
and-
all the pasta, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's that. I mean,
I think it's the lifestyle.
I think it's they I think what they landed on, which
By
is
the
like super
ocean.
not weird, which is super kind of weird. It was
This
like
lady,
happiness. You know, like these people
Well,
were just like
yeah,
so
full of
happy
joy.
in
to just like be
Europe,
alive.
So often it's like the stress level is so low. Not necessarily. I'm not saying that for all of Europe now.
Sure,
Okay?
sure.
Europe,
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
Don't cancel me for that. I've been. You can cancel me
they're
for
gonna
so many
cancel
other
you because
reasons.
assuming that they're so happy all the time.
I think
But,
you're
like-
good. Remember your costume? I was like, yeah, you're
That's
good.
what I'm saying. If you're gonna cancel me, I have way better reasons.
Plenty of things to cancel me for.
But like they talk about how in France they go and they take these like 3-hour lunches
Yeah.
and everything
Oh,
is
yeah.
much slower and it's
Slow.
about like it really is about happiness in life and
They
Six
just-
hour dinner in Italy, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
just
it's-
like
They did a study too about vacation days and like in other countries versus the U.S. Like how often, how many days you're given from like employers, and then also how often you use them. And in Europe, like they get a lot more and
Yeah.
they use a lot more.
use them.
In
Sure.
the
It's
U.S., it's
like
like
about
it's so much
happiness.
shorter of time, and a
Yeah.
lot of Americans don't even use their vacation
Because
time.
they're
it's
like
probably
so
the 40.
afraid.
I mean, it's the 40-hour work week, right? Like,
Yeah,
abolish
because
that.
it's different in
Everyone.
in Europe, right? Don't they have like a different structure?
like a
Everything's
4-day
different.
work week.
Yeah, I think
Like,
I've heard
Always
that.
3-day
well,
weekends.
there's like a certain hour like at lunch where like basically everyone stops working. Like no one works through lunch.
Yeah, I think my grandfather lived till 98, and he was like super like disciplined and just like went for walks every day, like was physically pretty healthy. But I don't think it's the physical health. I think it was the like mental like discipline and determination. Like I think he just was so disciplined, like he knew what he needed to do to like be happy and to like fulfill himself. And so I think that's huge, I'm sure, in the spectrum. I think it's probably a mix of genetics and physical health and also like your spirit a little bit. I know that sounds weird, but I think
I mean, Lance Armstrong got cancer. It's like,
yeah.
but was that from the roids?
Maybe. Well, no.
Like you can
I
be in
heard-
peak physical condition and still like die
Yeah.
young.
I watched a
Oh, yeah.
documentary of how they did like their steroids
Uh-huh.
then, and what it was, which I'm sure they did other steroids too, but like the majority of it was they would take a ton of their blood out of their system, like the day prior
this.
to the race, and then
Wow.
right before they would put it all back in, so your body's like functioning more
shoot.
than it has been, and that's what would give
Interesting.
you
would they
the,
mix
like,
it with steroids or
No, they just like
Well,
they like
they just, like,
peak, like they put it right back in and it was like,
It's like you're
Yeah,
suddenly
like your
fully
body-
oxygenated.
It's,
like-
Yeah.
like when you go
What
get an
the
IV
heck?
at the doctor's,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Ooh, I could do anything," because you're like, your system has just been rejumped.
So then there you go. So peak physical
What the
condition.
heck?
Can I
and
tell you a story about like
steroids?
no. I was about my weekend in Colorado. I went to
Okay.
Colorado and I was feeling under the weather. Like
Okay.
this last week I wasn't
Okay.
feeling great. Normal cold.
you
no
got your
big
car
deal.
back?
I didn't
No,
get it
that's-
back.
Wait, whose car is that?
That's my brother's car out there. Anyways, I went to Colorado and I wasn't feeling well, and so we were in Boulder for the day, just like hanging out. We've been to Boulder.
I've been to
And,
Boulder. Hey,
so
Sco Buffs.
Sco Buffs, and walked through that little strip we were at when we went to Boulder. Whole thing.
Fun times.
And I was like, so we went to this coffee shop, and it's funny because being sick now because of the pandemic is so taboo. Like
Yes.
even having a cold,
You cough,
people
you
look at you
sniffle.
different. And so we went to this coffee place, and Jordan was ordering for us, and I wanted like a hot tea to like help, soothe my, my congestion, all that. And so Jordan, it was funny. I was listening to her order because she was trying to say that, he's sick and he needs like a tea to help remedy that. But she didn't want to say that I was sick because we were in we were all
A
wearing
public
masks.
place. Yeah.
And so she was like, he needs like a medicine ball. And he's like, medicine ball? He didn't know Starbucks has medicine ball, obviously. He didn't know what that was. And she's like, well, like ginger and mint. And he's like, okay, so he just literally makes exactly what she says. So then we're walking through and we see this juice place. And I'm like, I'm going to get like a shot of juice to like help
Yeah.
immunity. And I was like, you know what? After that experience in the coffee shop, I'm just going to go in and just be honest. Like, I'm not feeling well and I need this, right?
Uh-oh.
So I go in and I'm like, hey, I go to she's like this young gal, she's working. And I was like, hey, so I'm not feeling well. I have like a little bit of a cold and I want to get a wellness shot. Like, what would you recommend? And she immediately just goes, closes her eyes, and like turns towards the menu. And I look at Jordan like, what is going? Like, it looked like she was gonna pass out. Like she just closed her eyes and like kind of shut down. And I was like, looking at Jordan, and then all of a sudden she like kind of wakes back up, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, you probably think I'm a weirdo." She's like, "I was just reading my body and feeling your energy to see what you needed." And I was like,
wow, she is
in the
at the
perfect
right. I was
profession.
gonna say
was
she's at
like-
the
Perfect
right
profession.
place.
okay. And she starts listing off these ingredients. Well, 2 of the 3 ingredients are in one of the shots, and
Yeah.
the third one's in a different shot. And she's like, "Well, I'll just do this shot," and because
this
like
shot.
because like the extra ingredients like 50 cents, I don't want to
Yeah.
charge you. And I was like, "Don't worry, like you can charge
Yeah.
me 50 cents. Like just put whatever you think, you know." I was like, "I just really want to feel better, you know." So she's like, the whole time she's making it,
love this.
she's like, can I add cayenne?" And I'm like, "Sure." She's like, "Can I add something beans?" I'm like, "Okay."
Like $60
Like, that'll be $40.
No, she didn't. She did this after I paid, so she was adding all this stuff just as like a,
sweet.
like
I
as
was
like,
like,
oh,
trying to
she's
help
like,
you.
you can tell she's, and I appreciate it.
What a
It just
mysterious
was so
woman.
interesting, right? So then she's like, "Here's your shot," puts it up, and I was like, "Cool." And I go up to get it, and she's like, "Can I take one with you?" And I was like,
She probably is wondering what
Sure.
that concoction tasted like.
so she pours out the extra into a cup, and now the shot was not what I was expecting. It's like a
Was it
big
spicy?
cup.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big shot. It's
yeah.
not like a small little
not like
guy.
a shot like
it's not like the
a-
Jamba Juice ones. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
like bigger.
It was
than
like
that.
a shot.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, "Sure." And then she like, we go to Cheers, and she's like, "To health and wellness." And I was like,
nice.
"Cool."
I
And I
love
like took
her.
it, and it was really spicy, but it was really good.
cayenne.
And
did it shock you awake?
it was just, the whole experience was so
How
incredible.
was your energy?
I was like dying, and Jordan was just like
Dying
the
with
whole
you.
time, being like, "What is going on?" So then I was like, "Oh, it was." I took it, and I was like, "Oh, it was so good." And then Jordan's like, "How is it for you?" Like to the girl, and she's like, "Oh," she's like, "I take shots all day."
Invigorating.
She's like, "I take shots all day with customers. That's all I do is I take shots with customers." And I was like,
So did
Whoa.
you like it? She's like,
I was like,
Juice
"Sometimes-
people.
I just felt
feel
your
like-
energy.
I feel like maybe you like could have made less of it and saved the company a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying?
Eh.
Like she just made like way too. She made enough for both of us to have shots. It was
She
just
probably
funny.
does that all day.
Oh my god.
It
Makes
was
it
just
up.
such, and we were talking about health and wellness. That's what made me think of it, because she just is like such a character, and I was like, she read my energy.
Juice people
Oh my gosh.
are a different breed.
I have a story
Let me tell
similar. We were walking through the farmers market at in Ocean Beach, and there's this table where this woman is selling crystals and rocks and stones. And there was right before that there was a booth where they were selling pickles, and they're giving out pickle little taster things,
Nice.
samples.
Yummy.
So we both had these little plastic cups that these little slices of pickles were in. They were great pickles. But
Great
the point
pickles.
is, I take my plastic cup and I stick it in Cara's hand, and I'm like, "Okay, here, take my trash for me," because I'm a piece of crap.
And I had like another wrapper with a straw in it, so it looked long.
But I do
Like,
this
it looked
kind of like
different.
low key. I just stuck it in her hand. We're passing to this crystal lady, and she goes, "Hey, come here! I just saw that. I saw you stick a crystal in her hand." And I go,
And I was like,
"No." And she opens her hand, and it's a bunch of trash. And this lady goes, "Hold on," and grabs a stone and walks
No,
over to
she
Cara.
grabbed one
This
of
is
those
a good
like
marketing ploy.
she grabbed
like a
one of
quartz
those
crystal thing.
crystals
The
that you
long-
grow yourself.
Sure.
That they get
Whatever.
like
She grabs this
tall.
crystal and walks over to Cara and like takes her hand and like puts it on her hand, and she's like closes her eyes,
Yep.
and she's like, "I just feel like you need this today."
And she took like a metal thing and like
She like
dinged it.
yeah, like a tuning fork. She
gave it
She
you?
went "Ding," with this tuning fork.
Where is
and
it?
she gave Cara that. I ditched
Oh, immediately
Like,
threw it away.
The point is, this woman like wasn't like, "Oh, sorry, I just accused
was
you of
trying to
stealing
cover her
from me."
tracks.
She's like, "Wait, hold on."
Yeah, she's making it a
Like
spectacle.
these people think they can get through life just being like pieces of crap and then being like, "Your aura is wrong."
It's like
It was
she
just,
didn't even say
fighting me,
sorry.
Or was fighting me. That was the funny part too. Like a little
funny.
detail of the girl at the juice shop was funny. She was like, when she said, like she like kind of woke back up from her reading. She was like, "I was just reading my body and feeling your energy." She's like, "I would never read your body," and I was like,
You're like, thank you.
"Okay."
your body.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
"But you read my
I
energy."
would never
Yes.
read
You
your
felt
body
my energy?
without your consent.
Yeah,
It was
she
just
trying
so
to be polite.
intense. It was
That's funny. It's funny how she
Boundaries.
didn't like
Yeah.
prelude it with her being like, "Hold on, let me read your aura."
Well, that's what Jordan
and
was
just
like-
went straight to like. dum.
Jordan was like, "Why don't you just like? Why wouldn't you say like, hey, do you like? I don't
Yeah.
care." And maybe she didn't know that,
And
but like,
in some way, shape, or form, it's thoughtful.
it is
Like,
nice. Yeah, she was very, and I could tell she was being genuine.
But it's
'Cause-
just kind of
Or I guess
bizarro.
I could tell she was like she thought she was being genuine. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel genuine to me,
genuinely
but like I could
believed
tell that she believed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like
I
Boulder's
get,
is crazy.
there's something to feeling somebody's vibe and like everyone has that sense in them to some extent. Some
Well-
people more than others, but to like you said, like
Trust your gut.
the spectacle of being like, let me feel you.
Yeah.
And sell you some juice. Like, okay, thanks,
it was a lot,
lady.
and then like Boulder itself.
Can I charge you extra 50
Yeah.
You both have been to Boulder because
Yes.
you've been with.
Yeah.
We both been all
Correct.
been with Jordan.
Hippie
And
town.
It's like
Not-
the whole
not too different from
thing
Ocean Beach.
Is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was this one guy. He was like asking for money. You know, obviously, I think he was homeless. He was asking for money, and
Mm-hmm.
we're like walking by, and I have like my tea and my water, and I'm like kind of drinking both because I really want to just like get over what I
Mm-hmm.
have, and I'm like drinking both, and he was like, again, he has a sign. He's asking for money, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this guy had a rough night. And I was like, haha. And he's like, oh, he's chasing his coffee with water. He's, you know, that means he's been drinking a lot. And I thought, this is such an interesting vibe. You're asking for money and then heckling people as they
Yeah.
walk
Judging.
by.
Oh, yeah, for
That's
sure.
just a great way to get
For
money.
sure.
Yep.
It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so crazy.
Not
Yep.
everyone can be perfect, okay?
And one homeless guy had a Venmo. I was like, that's smart. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
can hook up a Venmo, like
Yeah.
you're getting people. I love that.
My favorite homeless interaction at Boulder that Jordan and I had was
I think we saw her.
there was a man sitting down
Oh.
and people were walking by and he goes, "Hey buddy, I need some attention.
Oh yeah, we saw that guy.
Give me attention." And
He's
Jordan
like a
and I were walking
performer.
by and I was like, "That's me. I feel him.
I
need some
I said
attention."
that to
I need
Cara
attention.
just earlier today. I said the same words to Cara. Cara, I need some attention.
He is hilarious.
me
and
attention.
He's always there. Like I've seen him both
I
times.
love
I think
that.
I've been.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I love
He's
him.
Boulder Bob.
he's
they call
Boulder
him.
Bob,
Boulder
man.
Bob.
And it's just
My
interesting because there's
gosh.
just so many characters. Like there was a woman who like was doing what I think is like long form monologuing. She just was like talking, but
She
like
was
it was
monologuing.
very intense
yeah.
stuff. It was like society. If you ruin people's lives, you're
Spoken
the
word.
you're the
Spoken
worst. Yeah, like the whole
word.
thing.
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
but she wasn't looking at anybody. She was just like staring through people. You could tell it was
Yeah,
just like
that's rough.
very intense, very intense.
Terrifying.
People are so weird.
So maybe
People are-
maybe those people will
Well,
live
and there
forever.
are people who literally make careers off of that, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
think of, you
Yeah.
know, like the Bushman in San Francisco, which was literally a guy who would dress up as a bush and then scare people. And he was like famous, right?
Yeah.
Like people would give him money. He was like famous
Wow.
for doing this. And whenever we would go to San Francisco, I would request to go find him.
Yeah.
Like I was like, we need to go see the Bushman.
Oh
and they're
my
like,
gosh.
of course.
Bushman.
And he would like, you would just watch him scare people. It's amazing.
We are living
Or,
in a
like,
weird time.
right? Or like the metal people who pretend to be statues.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of impressive. I always
Yeah.
thought I could never
Yeah,
do
for
that.
sure.
They're so still.
Or like slow mo, which slow mo's story is totally different. But this
Right,
guy in
Slow-mo.
Slow-mo's cool.
slow mo's cool. Well, he
Slow-mo's
was like
cool.
a doctor.
Apparently he's not.
Oh, really?
Well, apparently he has some opinions lately.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, not
we
lately.
love it
Just
when-
the
like,
past
when
couple
good
years.
characters
Slow-mo,
start.
just,
Yeah.
just be slow mo.
Just be slow.
He was a doc. He was like a doctor.
He was
He's
a doctor.
retired, isn't
I
he?
watched this whole thing. Like basically, he was like, I was living from money and I hated it, and I wanted something to bring me joy.
Yep.
And he roller skates, but in a way that looks like he's going in slow motion for anyone who hasn't seen him. And he's been doing it for years.
Oh yeah.
And when
Yeah.
he rolls by, everyone's like, "Hey, slow mo!"
He's
That's
crazy.
good. I mean, obviously,
He's the
again,
old man in Squid Game. He
Yeah.
wanted he wanted to join back. He had it all, and he
Had it
wanted
all.
to join back in the
He
game.
probably sees
Yeah.
some gnarly stuff, just
Oh,
like
I-
rollerblading everywhere. I'm sure
Oh,
he
on the
probably
boardwalk?
I probably see
Oh,
that.
definitely Mission
Oh
Beach.
yeah,
it.
Mission Beach.
Well, you know, we're living in interesting times because we talked about the no bones bone situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just like the idea that like this pug who's 13 years old has captivated like
The world.
the internet and
Yeah.
the world at large
Yeah.
is insane to me.
Yeah. I saw this TikTok, and we're obviously gonna watch some TikToks. I saw this TikTok that was like a guy just filming himself. He's like, you know what I realized the other day? He's like, you are the main character in your story, and all the other people that you don't know. He's like, other than your your friends and family, you can they're non-player characters. You can say and do whatever you want. And he walks into this store and he goes, "Hey, I got a package delivery." He goes, "Hey, did you hear about Danny DeVito?" And the guy goes, "No." And he goes, "Danny DeVito made an OnlyFans account." And the guy goes,
No.
"Oh my gosh, did he really?" And they have this full conversation. And he goes, "All right, see ya." And he walks out. And he goes, "See that? I didn't have a package. I don't know that guy. You can say whatever you want to people."
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
That's
he's
pretty-
like, "No,
that's
Danny
pretty
DeVito
genius.
doesn't." Like,
But that's a big rumor. There, lots of people are trying to start this
Crazy.
OnlyFans for him.
but how? Like, you can just say and do whatever you want.
Yeah. I love
To
it.
some extent, I should say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can like just be a slow mo, you know?
Yeah.
You could be slow-mo.
today,
Yeah.
you could quit your job, right? Put
Sounds
all the
great.
money you got, buy a nice pair of roller skates, and just be slow-mo for the rest of your life.
Yep.
However
Yeah.
long that is,
That's so
because you quit your job.
Yep.
That is
Kind of
insane.
inspiring to you.
Yeah,
Maybe.
kind of. I love it.
We kind of are slow mo, are we not? We're those voices on
What
the
is your-
radio that people turn down when they get a phone call.
Wow.
We
What's
are?
your slow-mo, you think?
What's my slow-mo?
Like, what are you doing that's gonna,
I don't know that I have something as specific as slow-mo, but
what's gonna be your thing, you think? Like
Like when I get old?
When you get old and disillusioned with life, what's gonna be your thing? I'll probably be like a like public karaoke guy. You know those public karaoke people?
gosh.
love that.
Yeah.
I think that is
Yeah,
awesome.
Just like, and here's Wonderwall.
Yes.
And here is what. And
No.
they're like, please, this is the sixth song in a row.
We'll pay you to not do this, dude.
I don't know what I'll be. Who knows?
Ryan and John react.
We've talked about that as being old people, and that's just too much for me.
Frankly, that's just too much.
I can't.
People always ask if my cat is friendly, and I always tell them
No.
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 Too loud.
People always ask if my dog's friendly, and I always tell them no. Then they ask, is she gonna bite me? And I tell them, no, worse. She's gonna judge you.
Oh.
She's gonna judge you.
She's gonna judge you.
Next one.
Why can't you use beef stew as a computer password? It's not stroganoff.
Get
Wow,
it?
these TikToks
Get
are
it?
getting really obscure.
Stroganoff.
Get it?
This.
Oh, wait for this one.
Oh. The twerking dog.
The twerking
a
dog
lot.
really got
That's
that
a
one
lot.
for me.
I need to start
I
sending
love
her
that you think
TikToks
it's
again.
twerking.
End to
Help,
end
somebody made a hamster squid game.
with
I love that.
Squid Game.
Did we
Think
watch
it's
this last
twerking.
week?
Underrated comment. That was funny.
Here we are.
Is this hamster gonna die?
Oh my god.
Can I tell
That's a
you
sadist.
the most off the
That's
wall
all.
TikToks we've had in a long time? I love it.
I couldn't find very good ones, but had to end it with the Squid Games
No, they
one.
were good.
You know.
Well, everyone.
Should we put it back on?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Just like over everything. Yeah. See you next week. Number 53. We should have picked like numbers like they do in the.
Nah.
That would be ridiculous.
What would your number be?
23.
2, 4, 6, 0, 1. What is it?
There you go.
One day more.
Another day, another destiny. As I devote to Calvary.
Can you imagine working 12-hour days in these masks?
Nah.
Shooting people,
Nope.
Cleaning up
making
people.
sugar
Oh,
cookies.
would we be shooting people?
No,
No,
no.
triangle guys would be just telling people who to shoot.
The squares are the top dogs.
Those are the shooter guys. No,
No,
triangles.
soldiers are
Why do you think I got the triangles?
Oh, really?
Those
You
are
had
the
a
top
choice?
dogs.
That's cool.
Yeah, we could have gotten circles. I should have gotten you a circle. That would have been funnier.
That would have been really funny, huh?
Man.
Pretty funny. Well, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Be
For
safe
your own
out there.
opinions, and we'll see you next week on
What
the
the
Podcast.